Hey guys, welcome to yet another permanent low-buy update. This time it's February. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I will link my first permanent low-buy video in the description where I talk about my reasons for doing it and then I kind of discuss my rules. They've changed a little bit since then, so I'll continue to put my updated rules in the description of each update video I do, but that's where you can learn a little bit more information on what this is. So for the layout of this video, we are going to first go over the wish list that I made for February. Then we're going to look at what I actually ended up buying. After that, we are going to take a little peek at my March wish list. And then finally, we're going to do an overview of what I am thinking of the permanent low buy so far. I'll have to hold my laptop so I can see my wish list for February. I tried to visually distinguish the items that I wanted more from the items that I just generally wanted so I could work on some prioritizing. So as I list these items, I'll specify which ones that I considered a priority. A top from this small Canadian brand, Heavy Flow, that one was a priority. SD card reader, that was a priority. SD card, long sleeve mock neck top, fabric for clothing, 2 hay crates, Jonesy underwear, ear piercings, hair dye / bleach, knit gloves, boots, a bike, a camera, and a lens. I keep my list of items that I bought and the items that I want inside Google Sheets. And so what I did was I created a list for February, my wish list, and I added 2 little asterisks. I think that's what they're called, the little stars, next to the items that I considered priorities, items that I just wanted more, that I think that I would enjoy having more than the other items on the list. I think visually pointing this out really helped me. I mean, I think I kind of already knew what items I considered to be a priority in my head, but God, there's just so much stuff going on in there. I can't keep track of wish list items. So visually distinguishing them really helped me. I didn't stray away from my priority items and use up money on items that I didn't want as much. I know prioritizing, since I am an adult, should probably be pretty easy by now, but visually distinguishing these items versus just trying to keep a mental marker in my mind really helped. I mean, I know not to spend my money on wants over needs if I don't have extra money, but that's not where my prioritizing issues have been. It's just I have always had trouble prioritizing my wants, being able to know and acknowledge which items would probably be more useful for me to have sooner and which items I would enjoy having sooner rather than ones that, I wouldn't enjoy as much but might be more accessible and affordable over the ones that I want more but maybe, less accessible and less affordable. I hope that makes sense. I think that I actually did really well this month, February. I think that I actually did really well with my purchases in February. Not like I bought very little of anything, but more so that my purchases were me. That may not make sense right now, but I'll explain what I mean by that once I am done going over what I actually bought. Okay, I'm going to be looking at my laptop down here for this as well, because I can't just remember things, I guess. On February 1st, I made my first purchase, and that was 2 skeins of yarn. I hope that I'm saying that right. I'm new to the world of yarn. And I also got 1 crochet hook. I wanted to try out a new hobby, crocheting, and I also wanted to try to make my own beanie. And so I did, and it looks a little rough, not gonna lie, but I am proud of myself for making it and actually doing something new, and I really like the color. Okay, so the back of it well, the part that I always push to the back honestly kind of looks like a pair of butt cheeks to me. I don't know. I just love it. I love it for its flaws, and I love that I made it. On February 6th, I bought some concealer. Just concealer. Then during the second week of February, on the 9th, I bought 5 skeins of yarn. I wanted to make a sweater vest, but I ended up returning 2 of the skeins because I didn't really like the colors, and this place that I bought them from, there's not a wide variety of colors, so after I returned them, I had 3 skeins of yarn. All 3 of them were the same color. I don't know how I'm going to do this whole 2 item limit rule if I'm going to continue trying to crochet things, because a lot of the things that I do want to crochet require more than 2 skeins of yarn, and I don't want to buy 2 skeins of yarn one week and then have to wait until the next week or later week to buy the rest of the yarn so I can continue the project, because that would just cause the project to take such a long time. Would it be cheating if I considered 2 skeins of yarn of the same color to be one item? Let me know what you think, because I don't know what to do about that. According to the 2 item limit, I don't know. What should I do? That same week, on February 11th, I finally bought a card reader. I have been putting off this purchase for so long, and it's not that expensive depending on which one you buy. Before that, I had a really cheap one that I was on the go, so I just had to buy whatever was there, and it gave out on me a month or so ago, and finally I bought one. So hopefully I won't need to buy another one anytime soon. The next week, on February 17th, I bought these Joseph Sable, I don't know how to say the last name. I bought shoes by that brand on Poshmark. About a week or 2 prior to purchasing them, I found them on Depop, but of course not long after I decided that I wanted them, they sold. I didn't think that I was going to find them again, but one day I just decided to look them up for fun. I was just going to check out, maybe my size was out there somewhere. Lo and behold, I found them on Poshmark, slightly cheaper than the ones that I had originally found on Depop, so I bought them. And they are, without a doubt, the most interesting shoes I've ever owned, and I really don't regret buying them. I usually go for shoes that are pretty plain, plain black, plain white, don't really have any pattern, but these defy all of my past shoe purchases, and I really like them. But there's one issue, and it's that they're slightly too small, I guess. The ones that I had found on Depop were size 39s, a European 39. I'm not great at understanding European shoe sizes. Okay, so according to this chart on Google right now, a European 39 correlates with a US 8 or an 8.5. And I got the numbers mixed up in my head, and I thought that I wore a size 38 in European sizes. And so that's what size the shoes are. And a size 38 correlates with a 7.5 in US. And that's kind of disappointing that I made that mistake. But I haven't decided if the half size difference bothers me enough to resell them. I don't know. It would be really painful to give them up because I really like them, but I guess we'll see. On February 23rd, I bought the June top. It's the heavy flow top that I was talking about earlier in my wish list. They recently released 2 new designs, and I bought one of them because I really, really like the clothing that they make. Since most of their items are made to order, I don't have it with me yet, so I can't show it on me quite yet. but I will add photos of what the top itself looks like and the fabric that I ordered it in. I don't think that I usually don't go for fabrics that look like that, but I'm just out here taking fashion risks. Honestly, my fashion risks are very tame just because I usually don't try very wild things, but I mean, shoot, I bought those shoes. They've got cow print on them. Dang. Who am I? And finally, on February 24th, I bought a pair of underwear from Nikki. I also got a free pair with my order because I sent them some of my old socks and stuff to be recycled. I did originally have on my February wish list some underwear from Jonesy, but I think I'll just put that off to a later date, maybe, or I just will forget about it because one pair of underwear from them is the same price as two from Nikki, and I just need underwear right now, so I just went with Nikki. Also, I had fabric on my February wish list, but I didn't end up having to buy it because my mama gave me a lot of beautiful fabric to work with, so I am very excited to make some clothing out of that. Now, what I meant earlier when I said that my purchases were more me is somewhat specific to clothing, sort of. And I know that I have said this countless times, probably at this point, but I have had a bad habit in the past of wanting clothing to resemble people that I admire, because I guess subconsciously I think that what I like is not interesting enough or good, and so I just find myself wanting things that other people like, and I think being influenced by people is perfectly fine. I mean, everyone is influenced all the time, whether they realize it or not, but being influenced in a way that I'm not really being myself or true to myself is not something I want to participate in, so I'm working on that. And I think all the purchases that I made this month, especially the clothing purchases, were true to me and what I like. Now we're going to go over my March wish list, and I'll once again be noting which items I consider to be priority items. I have 2 hay crates for storing my sweaters, because they're just kind of sitting out there right in front of my mirror, and, I don't want them to do that anymore, so I would like to have a nice looking container thing to put them in. I also had the 2 hay crates on my February wish list. Almost all of these items that I have on my wish list for March were also on my February wish list. I also have a bike on here. Since it's spring now, the weather is actually warming up, and maybe I can do something outside for once. So I would like to get a bike because I miss riding a bike. My priority item for this month is hair dye / bleach. I know that this isn't really a trend anymore, or it's kind of like out of style, whatever you want to call it, but where people will dye the side pieces of their hair kind of like where their sideburns are, I guess, or close to that area. I really want to try that because I've never dyed my hair an unnatural color before, and I would really like to bleach them and possibly dye it some kind of color, because I still like it. I still like the way that it looks, even if it isn't really a trend anymore, but we will see. That is the priority item for this month. Next, I have an ear piercing on here. Well, I want both of my ears pierced, but I hate having to wait until they heal to have, the earrings that I actually want to wear. And I've never had my ears pierced, and I have been fine so far without it. So I'm kind of hesitant to do it because it's not cheap usually. So I guess we'll see. Socks from Pansyco. I don't need socks right now, but it would be nice to have some that are, kind of like an interesting color, spice it up a little bit, but it's not a priority. I have an SD card. I don't need one right now, but again, it would be nice to have. I probably will need one later on though. And then, the running items, camera and lens. Camera, I don't know what camera I want yet, so I think that's part of the reason that I haven't bought one. But I'm not in a hurry to upgrade because there's nothing wrong with the camera that I have right now. It just doesn't put out the best quality video. I'm not in a hurry to get one yet. I want to give myself plenty of time to think about which one to get, even though I really haven't been thinking that much and I've had it on my wish list for a few months. I'll probably upgrade within the next couple of months. How about that? As for the lens, I really, really want a Sigma art lens so bad, and I wanted to wait until I upgraded my camera body. I don't know when that's going to be, so maybe I'll buy the lens before I buy the camera. But then again, I don't even know if I want to stick with Canon, so God, I don't know. I'm just too indecisive. Regardless, I'm not really in a huge hurry to buy either of them. Dang, this is my shortest wish list yet. Maybe this is actually working. Maybe I'm starting to want less. I don't know. That's it for my wish list for March. So let's do a quick overview of what I'm thinking of the permanent low buy now. I think one of the consistent issues that I brought up in the last couple update videos is that I have just had a big problem keeping track of my purchases, especially my smaller ones that I, have a history of making throughout the week, ones that are, small enough for me to even forget about them. But I did a great job of making sure I wrote everything down this month, and I've even gotten more detailed. I've started writing down the day that I bought them and the price as well. But based on my wish list that I have for March, I think I'm actually starting to want less, which is nice. If you're also doing a permanent low buy or just a regular low buy, or just watching your purchases and you're doing wish lists, I would seriously recommend distinguishing your priority items, the items that you want more from the items that you don't want as much. I'm a very visual person, so doing that helped me out a lot, and I'm going to continue doing that from now on. I think that made a really positive impact on my experience with purchases this past month. I also think that it helped me buy less, honestly, but I don't know. Maybe I just happened to buy less, but I think the prioritizing helped. Maybe I'm learning. All I know for certain right now is that I am so excited for spring. I think that is all that I have for this permanent low buy update. I hope that you enjoyed watching. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! I'm wearing my brown and black and blue knit shirt underneath this dress, and then I'm wearing sweatpants underneath and some socks. Very fashion forward today.